Experience the highs and lows of the inspiring success stories we highlight. Allow the experiences and the examples of our guests to lift and inspire you out of the past or future. Hi, this is Jennifer Annenberg, and I'm here with Susie Jacobs, a local Cincinnatian who had two amazing boutiques, Julia's, for how many years?
27.
27 years. She dressed the who's who of Cincinnati for 27 years, and I'm so glad to have you here. Welcome, Susie.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
And I really think she epitomizes success because Susie really has it together on the inside and the out, and I really can't wait to get into what her opinions are and how she feels. So welcome again, Susie. I want to know, my first question is, who do you think you are? Who is Susie Jacobs?
Oh boy, Susie Jacobs is a person with a big heart who loves people. That's my passion first, are having relationships with human beings, and sharing my life with other people. I mean, that's my main reason I'm on this earth.
Yeah, but what, I mean, as far as, because we're here to help people to find their passion and the purpose in life, and I mean, do you feel that you were successful? Did you ever have a moment that you felt things clicked?
Yes.
Oh, I made it. I'm doing
yes.
something worthwhile.
Absolutely. I had a lot of
Can you
accomplishments and great moments in business and my personal life. Describe it.
Well, I mean,
it's a great feeling when you're high and you're up and you're happy and excited and passionate about things you succeed with in your life.
But do you feel like, in essence, what's, you know, when we say we're successful, but what really is success? I know we've talked about this before, but success to some is the forms, you know, the external parts. What to you is success?
All of my success came from my inside, from my feelings, from my gut, from my core, by feeling, first of all, self-respect for myself, to respect others, and to have a self-worth and self-esteem, to feel good about myself, because there weren't always moments you feel that way in this life. We all have our skeletons, we all have our past, and it's how you go through your life, and when you come upon obstacles that stop you from making you fearful to go forward, that's when you sit back and go, wait a minute, that's from what happened when I was a little girl, or that's when someone hurt me a long time ago, because it's all of our hurts, and it's how we work through them and get through them and get over. We don't get over them, we always have them with us, but it's how we deal with it differently.
Well, especially in a business like, I mean, yours, which it was focused on the outside. I mean, I'm wearing this in honor of you, fashion outfit, but I mean, you know, that aside, I mean, we're really, you know, we're dressing up our outside package, and it's sort of a celebration, but I think that's enhanced once you sort of know who you are, you know, and I think that then it becomes even better. But I think you had a lot of clients who came to you, you know, who really wanted to be someone else, or perhaps they had that empty. I mean, I knew you had a lot of years of that. I actually worked for Susie for a period of time. We had a lot of fun, but I think that they came to you because I feel you did know who you are, and you helped. People came to you for you know, I think they came to you for sort of advice. I think they came to you for counsel. You know, I think it wasn't just about the, you know, put a couple dresses in the dressing room and I've got this big gala affair. I think they came to you because you really had it together. You have it together, I should say.
Honestly, when I was in business, I wasn't in business, honestly, to get rich monetarily. I did it because I love making people feel good about themselves. That's why I did. That was my passion in my business.
Yeah. To
make a woman, when she came to me, to put her in something that made her feel better about herself when she walked out than when she walked in. Yeah. And to make her feel more whole.
Well, right, and I know you did make a successful business. I mean, it was to $1 million business. I mean, that's nothing to be, you know, nothing to wipe under the carpet. I mean, that
was never my main reason for what I did. I made a living from it and I enjoyed it, but I really did it to make people feel good about themselves.
I mean, do you think that's one of the qualities of success, is not to be attached to the outcome and to the profitability? Although, I mean, in some sense, does there have to be that?
I mean, we all have to have money to live on and be happy with. I don't think you need a whole lot of it to make you happy. It doesn't make me happy, but I'm fortunate enough that I can live a lifestyle I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think that's what makes success at all. Your success comes from definitely from how you feel about yourself and others. Definitely from the inside out.
Well, then how would you, or what would you say to someone who says, well, I don't know what that is. I don't know, what do I do to find that?
First, I'd probably ask them about their life and what hurts did they have in their lives that made them not feel worthwhile or self-worthy or passionate about something in life. What stopped them from feeling their passion and following their dreams?
Yeah, because in essence, I think we have those old tapes playing all the time, where we're not, everyone always thinks you're not worthy, or you're not this, or you're not that. And let's face it, all of us, no one's perfect, right? And we have to replace them with something else.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the courage to do that, because, sometimes it's easier just to do the same thing day in, day out, and really to take that leap of faith and to do something different takes much more courage than to do the same old thing
Sometimes
all the time.
Yeah, it takes a lot of guts.
And to stay in that same relationship or the same job or whatever. And that's, I think, what life is all about. But there are, I think, in essence, more people who, whether it's the beginning of their work life or beginning of their life, or they're in some middle part where they just want to reassess.
Mm-hmm.
Am I really doing something that's making me happy? What would you say? What's the first step?
The first step is to figure out inside what pushes your buttons, what makes you happy, and what makes you want to get up every day and have a reason to go somewhere. Because working is a privilege, and I think it's something that makes you thrive for other things in your life. But first you got to find out what fulfills you inside, not outside.
Yeah.
And that may take a while, and that takes a lot more work on the inside than the outside.
Well, even can you name someone that you look up to or that you deem as successful? That's sometimes hard to do. Who do you?
A few people.
Very few
There's
people.
a man named Mike Monahan who is the executive director of Life Success.
Okay, and why? Why is he? Why do you think
Well, I
he's
went through Life
successful?
Success 22 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and it helped me find my passion and my self-worth and self-esteem, and it helped me work through what was holding me back, what fears I had that held me back. And I admire him so much because he did not have a nice background and just forged ahead and is doing something 360 degrees differently than what he started out to do in life. He was a pipe fitter. And now he, every month, and that's his passion, he helps people find themselves and gives them the tools to work through to get to what makes them happy and passionate inside.
Yeah, it is funny how it's hard to find or think of someone. Is there, who do you deem as really
Well, my hero was my
has it all
dad.
together? Your dad.
My dad was my hero.
And why?
Because he had such a compassion for people. He was never, ever judgmental. He was very spiritual and very caring. He gave his heart, and he had a great sense of humor, and he shared that with a lot of people. He touched a lot of people, made a lot of people happy in their lives.
What's the best advice you ever received?
The best advice I ever received was from my father. He said, first of all, treat people the way you want to be treated, and never let anyone else stop you from following your dreams.
Wow,
Pretty big.
that's pretty big.
Yeah.
And if you could change anything about the world, it's a
Oh.
big order. Yeah, what do you think the world needs more of? What could you change? What would you change?
Compassion,
Compassion.
love for each other as human beings, because we are all of our cores are the same. There's nothing different in any human being. We start out with the same core, the same emotions, the same feelings. And when we hurt each other, that's what hurts the world.
Well, and I agree with that. And I think that with that, though, I think, to feel compassionate, one has to feel good about themselves. And
Exactly.
you can't give what you don't give. And I think that internal world creates your external world, right? And so, yeah, and then So it's hard to say that.
It is hard.
It is hard.
Because you don't have love in your heart for yourself. You can't give it to other people.
Right,
And then you spread negativity.
Well, I always say hurt people hurt
And
people.
hurt, absolutely.
Hurt people hurt people. I tell my kids that too. Well, I wonder too, and part of the reason why I feel this project is so important is because is it time to reassess success? I feel that we've come to a point that for some reason, and I always say this regardless of economic times, regardless of the way things fluctuate, regardless of our political leaders, their statistics show that people are more unhappy than ever. People are popping pills. There's more depression. There's more lack of health, whether you say diabetes or things like that. Plus, our current generation is not projected to outlive the previous generation, meaning that there's no generation beforehand where usually every generation precedes the next. Our youth is actually going to live shorter than the previous generation. Why? Why are people so unhappy? Why are people not finding their joy and their happiness? And I wonder, is it time to reassess success, or what it means to be magnificent, or what it means to be, be your highest best self? And I wonder, by people who have achieved success, like yourself and other guests we've had, do you think there's a formula? Do you think that there's certain qualities that are musts that must, be followed to find that passion?
I do.
Can you
And I
help us?
think instead of, like you said, we medicate with pills, with food, with alcohol, with drugs, instead of pushing it down and not feeling whatever we're feeling, whether it's hurtful and very painful, to get through the fear instead of just numbing yourself, to start feeling it and bringing it outward. Because once you work through those pains and hurts, that's when you can start feeling better about yourself. As a person, you'll feel whole, and you'll feel passion, and when you feel a fear, because once you feel fear and you're vulnerable, that's a scary place to go. But once you know what that feels like, and you know the outcome of it, once you get to the other side, is so much better. That if everyone would just sit back and take baby steps and work through it one little step at a time to get to the essence of what hurt them, I think they'll become a better human being and bring it outward into the world.
Well, that may be surrounding yourself with different people. That may be doing the simple act of putting your shoes on differently. It's doing something differently, I think, every day that helps you to become a different person, if that's what you want. If that's what you want.
And if you have the courage to speak what you feel to every human being that comes in your life that hurts you, as soon as they hurt you, if you can say to them, look, that just hurt my feelings. Please don't speak to me in that tone of voice. And if everyone would use their words to say what's really going on with them and be honest and with integrity, I just think people would find their success and their...
Well, and by success, it's interesting because then we talk about the outside versus the inside, and we talk about stuff and abundance. And America's so big about the stuff, right? But I think that there's something about having it all. I think that there's, here we are, and we're espousing this certain look or whatever. But I think even the people that we interview, they are successful and they do have it all, but they have the inside as well. Mm-hmm. But it does enhance the outside. And it's funny how when you don't want it and you're not attached to it, life gives it all to you. They give you, it all comes.
It all comes.
It
passes you by.
Even
one
my
or the
life,
other.
When I went through my low time in my divorce and I had to give it all, I gave it all up. And that's when everything, even the financial piece came rolling in. And it's interesting how that piece comes and then it enhances everything else. But that's why I would never say to someone, it's not that physical piece, the stuff, the bling, whatever you want to call it. But I think that life was meant to be abundant. I mean, look at nature.
Oh, absolutely.
Look at nature.
I agree.
So I think it's interesting to look at. I think that it's critical thinking that needs to happen, and hopefully this will take place. But that's why I want to segue perhaps into working hard. And I know you worked so hard in your life, but then why is it that some people who work so hard, perhaps like a waitress or a plumber or people who work hourly.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that they are not successful?
Maybe they are. In their eyes, they are. Maybe they don't need more abundance of material things to make them happy. It all comes from where they are inside and how they feel about themselves. I think that will make them successful. No matter if you're out there waitressing on tables every day, digging ditches, or you're the CEO of the biggest company in the United States, it all comes from who you are inside and how you feel about yourself and what you take out into the world.
So it's really not what you do, it's what you put into what you do.
Mm-hmm.
It's, whether you're taking care of aged parents,
Mm-hmm.
Wiping the cheek of your children at home, cleaning their food every day, the stay-at-home moms, or maybe it's the act and what you're actually putting into your work that makes an ordinary act extraordinary.
Mm-hmm.
And in that sense, then that is success.
It is success.
Rather than this, that's what I'm saying, that maybe we need to reevaluate what.
Well, we do.
Success.
We put so much emphasis on the outside of everybody.
You have to be a lawyer or a doctor
Yeah,
or
and you got to
blah, blah, blah.
drive this type of car or that type of car, or have this kind of house, or your children need to go to this school and have the perfect little outfit on for every little event. That's so unimportant in the big picture of life. It doesn't matter. Who cares?
Right. But it is. It's so reassessing those values and saying the smallest acts could become the most extraordinary acts. And I think when people realize that they do contribute in those ways. Like I saw once we were in Chicago and the waiter had been wiping every single glass off with pride, and I thought, now that is someone who really loves his job and puts such pleasure into what he's doing. And then it made me feel good, like I wanted to be at that restaurant. I wanted to be there, and it made that extraordinary. And I could tell that to me was success. That he felt he was doing something worthwhile, and you could tell that. I think he enjoyed what he was doing. And who's to say that was any better than someone who was a CEO or a physician, whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And also, when you give back to that gives a lot more fulfillment in your life. Like I'm a mentor at Boys Hope, Girls Hope, and now I'm going to join when they open as a volunteer for City Links. And I am looking so forward to it. Because I know when I give, I get so much more.
How important do you feel that is in the realm of life?
That's
to give back.
That's way up there for me.
Yeah.
And to me, will be my legacy, is to help other people. My dream is my husband and I want to build a sanctuary for children to come to that come from any type of abuse. They need to just get away from their family environment for the weekend or the week. Just a safe place they can come and talk about how they're feeling. That's my dream in my life. That's my passion.
Sounds like I want to talk about in your store and any tough times. Name a tough time, because I'm sure you had some. And how did you get through?
It was a roller coaster ride. Retail business.
Retail is the epitome of roller coaster.
I mean, you can have days and weeks, and then if the client's not coming in, the customer isn't walking in to see you to purchase your inventory, then you have your bad times, because you've got your cash flow problems all the time, and paying for the inventory and paying your employees and paying all your bills. So those are the tough times. And then when you start going through those tough times, all of a sudden they start coming in again. It's like I just gave it to God, really, and said, just help me out here. And I got through a lot of it that way. And yeah, it was a roller coaster ride. Retail is tough business. And you really have to have a lot to withstand it and stay with it.
And what do you mean by that, a lot, to withstand it? What do you mean?
Just have to have the heart to stay with it, because sometimes the money's not there when you need it right away.
So what did you do?
Well, I lend myself money from my investments.
Yeah.
I would
You
invest
have
it
to
in
do
my
that.
business
Sure.
and then pay myself back when I could.
Yeah.
And
But that kept you going.
It kept me going
Yeah.
for many, many, many years.
Yeah.
But I mean, there were a lot of great times. Many more great than not.
Yeah.
But it was a roller coaster ride. It was pretty stressful,
And
honestly.
I'm sure you had fun times too, and
Oh,
times when there
lots
were
of fun.
customers who had really funny stories, and you used to dress lots of people. I mean, do you have any stories that stand out of clients that had
Oh my
really
gosh.
fun parties or times?
I
Or,
have a lot of nice events that happen in people's lives.
can you talk about one in particular that was meaningful or that stands out of an event?
Like a dear friend of mine, her daughter was getting married, and she had gone through breast cancer right after I did, and she didn't think she was going to make it. It was her second bout with cancer, and to dress her and make her feel so good about herself for that whole weekend was one of the greatest feelings I ever had. It just made me feel so good to help her.
Yeah, and you got to do that too,
A
using
lot.
your gifts and talents. And that was really special.
That
That's
was
awesome.
that was the fun part of the business, the emotional feeling. And I still have so many great relationships with people that were my clients are now my dear friends.
Yeah, you really were, you're so well known. I mean, it was not only the boutique, but it was you. People came in to see Susie. I mean, when you walked in, it was a greeting. It was like, hello, and it was just, there's nothing like that. You embodied, and that I think is also the success. I think when people are doing something that they really love, they're in their joy, it can't help but be successful. It can't help but be at least unforgettable as well, because and there was just nothing like it. And I know people who are watching this or who know, that's Susie. I mean, have been there or done it, or you've done something for them, and it just you can't help it.
Because honestly, when people came to see me in my place of business, I didn't care if they bought anything or not.
No,
I was just happy to
they
see
would
them.
visit, right? You would talk.
Come
and
talk, because I'm a
yeah.
very social, talky person.
Yeah.
I love people, though.
Yeah, yeah.
That's my main passion,
Well,
is
but
relationships.
What other qualities then? I mean, do you think that there is a minimum to be for someone who feels like to find their purpose and passion? I mean, they have to have the joy of doing it. Obviously,
You have to love what you're
Have
going
to
do.
love. They have to
'Cause
know
you're gonna do
themselves.
it. That's what you're doing. Most of your 2/3 of your life are spent
Right.
where you're working in your working environment.
Right.
So you better love where you're going every day,
Right.
and have a reason to get up to go there, and have a passion, and what really makes you tick and click in that environment.
Right. And start small.
Always start small.
And get up and do it, and do those things in a small way. And what else would you say?
And just achieve one step at a time.
Look at those shadows.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the shadows.
if you
Face
got,
the shadows.
if you get that fearful feeling in your gut, work through it.
Yeah. Maybe enlist the
Leap.
help of other people.
Mm-hmm.
Enlist the help of other friends. What else would you say?
Yeah, always ask for help from other people. People are always willing to help you.
You'll find people who are like you if you try. They're all
Yeah, there are
We know that there's a magic.
more good people than bad out there.
Yeah.
And there are good people that will help you if you ask for the help.
Yeah, that's true. What do you want to be known for?
What do I want?
What would you like to be known for?
My compassion and my love for other people.
Like your father.
Mhm.
You were definitely known for
Just
that.
to be a giver and just accept people where they are, no matter what's going on in their lives at that moment. Just accepting them just for the essence of who they are.
Yeah, and I think that also you gave so much, and I think it's a point to say that you gave so much to the boutique and to so many people that you did find the love of your life laid in your life, and I think that's a special mention because that does happen too. To so many people who feel like, and it's a time when you weren't looking.
Exactly.
Can you say something about that? That I think when you don't look for something, I think when people, I think whatever you resist, persists. I've heard that once from Eckhart Tolle, and I think that's very true.
It's very powerful.
Very powerful, and I think when you're full and your cup overflows, I think that you find things. They find.
And that's so true because when I finally really came into my own in my 35 to 40s, my early 40s is when I really found out who I was. And that's when I thought, you don't really need to have. I mean, I dated a lot of men, and I tried to fix a lot of men, and I was like, this is not working. And thank God I didn't get married younger, because I know I wouldn't have stayed there.
Yeah.
And when Greg came into my life, and I had known him for 25 years, never when we started seeing each other, and I think I would marry this man. I mean, it was the furthest thing from my mind. And we started out as very dear friends, and we started out because he was involved with a charity called Starshine, which was hospice for children.
Oh, yeah, sure.
When it first started in Cincinnati, I had no idea what it was. And I went to the golf outing, he chaired for it, and I fell in love with this charity and bawled my eyes out. And I bought a TV that night for the charity, took it home, and the next week later he walked in my store and said, how would you like to be on our board? And I said, but I've always worked retail, I don't know if I can do it, because I work 6 days a week. So long story short, I said, yes, I'll do it. I did a fall fundraiser for him, and we started getting together to talk about it every week, and it just grew.
You fell in love.
And we fell in love, madly in love.
Always take those little signs and symbols and quirky moments, and there's no coincidences.
Exactly.
They coincide. That's what
Exactly.
Wayne Dyer always says. They coincide. Those moments. Yeah.
So,
but
yeah.
you listen. And now you're how many years married?
We just celebrated 10 years.
10 years.
And he proposed 2 weeks after I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Wow.
And, I mean, he could have run
Yeah.
the other way.
You're right.
And he was there, right there by my side through everything.
Oh, wow. He's a good man, I bet.
He's a good man, and I've
very
been
good
very
man.
blessed with, they're adults, but I call them my bonus children, and now I'm a grandma.
Your bonus children. It's wonderful.
It is
and I'm
wonderful. It's
really
a blessing.
happy to see your life and how it's unfolded. And it's a testimony to getting to know and love yourself and really how that's unfolded. And I really hope that people see that it's worth it. It's worth the highs and the lows,
Oh,
and the
and
ins
there
and the
are
outs, and
some
there's the
lows.
lows. Yeah, that's a real testimony. And thank you for being who you are, and thank you for being a part of this project. And I really thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
Come find yourself. The world needs you, all of you. How long are you willing to wait? Are you ready?